coming at you live from the Bass Room Studio 2.0 in Seattle, Washington. And just like the little playroom that you can no longer fit into at your old dentist's office, when you see us in the grocery aisle, you'll audibly yell, "Yas!" Welcome to the Spacecast. Today on Traffic, we have Peter Freeze.
Hey.
Covering our local news, we have Chase Goka.
Hello there.
With weather, we have Andrew LeClaire.
What up?
For sports, we've got Mike McCoy.
Sports!
For social media, we got Jim Charters.
Social.
And for breaking news, we've got Phil Williams.
It's just in. Phil is here.
Hi, I'm Kevin McCoy, longtime host, first-time leader of the pod. Hey. We've got a good episode coming for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about overhearing strangers' conversations, a story about how my credit cards were stolen, an update on Rat Watch, and finally our coup de grace, a game that I wrote last night after Andrew texted me asking me to host called Danger Island.
Ooh. Before we get started, I just want to throw this out to all the pod fans out there. Kevin used to be a pod fan.
Yeah,
in the trenches, and look at him now, hosting.
This could be you.
Hosting the podcast of his dreams.
Wow.
It's just a real inspirational story.
It really is, yeah.
You keep cutting out those box tops, you could be here too.
Yeah, you keep sending in that pop mail.
Kevin, you're the Abraham Lincoln of our podcast.
I feel like I'm the only one who fills out that sweepstakes on our Instagram account every week.
And I get the feeling that you're saying that one night advance notice is not enough to prepare for this podcast.
You know what? You decide.
Let's find out.
All right. So very, very recently, I was at the Seattle Center this weekend, and I was just walking into the bathroom, and there was this guy who was talking to this other guy at a urinal. I go and stand next to them because there's only three. And he goes, "So I brought from a simmer to a boil and I started adding clams." And like he gets that far into the conversation when the other guy just goes, "Shut up!" And then we all peed in silence for the rest of the time. And I just was like, there's so many times when I walk into the middle of something. I was curious if you guys have any other stories that you can remember where you've overheard stuff.
I do.
Oh my God.
I frequently walk around the streets of Seattle and I'll hear mutterings of, "Yes, have you heard this 7-person podcast that is all the rage?" And then the person that they say it to is like, yeah, I've listened to it. There's a lot of crosstalk. I haven't been able to figure out what podcasts they're talking about.
I think it's This American Life. They really need to get their shit together.
Too many hosts on This American Life.
It's got to be.
I had a good one that actually was like, this is like a long time ago. I was actually walking to the podcast at our old studio in Chase's also other basement.
Nice.
In Ballard. And it was a lovely summer's day. And I'm walking down the street, and on the other side of the street, there's a dad and his son, and his son is trying to start the lawnmower to start cutting the grass, and the dad won't and he's like, "Dad, it just won't work. It's not working at all." And the dad's like, "You better figure out how to," he was like yelling and berating his kid, basically telling him, "You better figure out how to start that mower. We have to leave in an hour. You got to mow this whole lawn." And I was like, "Oh my God, you're putting so much pressure on this kid to make the lawn perfect, and you have to leave the same day. Give me a break."
That's what I love about summertime. It's not that you start hearing the distant lawnmower in the distance. You hear just people yelling at their goddamn lawnmower that won't fucking start.
Yeah, that's how you know.
Shitty ass kid.
Kid's like, I don't even want to mow the lawn, Dad.
Yeah, I love that he's putting pressure on him just to start it, even though he's doing exactly what he asked him to.
Exactly. Yeah. He's like trying to accomplish the task.
Another one happened to me just yesterday at 24 Hour Fitness. I was walking back to my car after working out, and this man, this woman, this little 5-6-year-old girl step out of their car, and he goes like, "I don't know, Eileen, I don't remember." And then they're like arguing, and they start walking towards Rite Aid. And
Come on, Eileen. Sorry. Anyway,
That took me about 30 seconds too long to figure out that joke.
So they're walking towards Rite Aid, and the wife who was driving just completely forgot to close the door. They all walk away from the car, and like she's left the door open, and I'm like, "Hey, excuse me, like your car's open."
yeah.
And then the husband just starts yelling at her and being like,
Oh,
"You're setting
shit.
such a bad example for her daughter. You always yell at her for doing this." And like, and it was like less of an overhearing,
God.
but like now I'm involved in it.
Oh, geez.
Did you start yelling at the daughter?
At that point, I just left.
You're like, oh, okay, have a nice day.
Like, you're 6. That's what I said.
Seriously, get your act together. This is a terrible example for your daughter.
Oh, man.
I overheard some great fitness advice last week. I was at the gym, and you know, if you go to the gym regularly, you always see that guy who's always there. Doesn't matter if you go at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. He's there. I think every gym has him. He probably lives underneath the bench press.
His name's Chad.
Yeah, what's
I'm
his
sure
name?
he is. Yeah, this guy's about 5'2", 200 pounds of just solid muscle. I mean, the dude is just shredded. So I respect him a lot, obviously, based on his body type. Anyway.
Because you get beat up if you didn't.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Of course. And I heard him chatting with a new, very scrawny prospective gym client. And I'm sorry. His sage words of advice were, "Bro, dude, you got to quit it with the whey protein powder. It's not worth it. Get on a cycle. You got to get on a cycle." And for the uninitiated, a cycle that's steroids. That is straight up steroids.
On a cycle.
Get on the cycle, bro.
Yeah, and so it was just a scrawny kid, maybe 19 years old, asking this dude who looks like a Greek god, like, "What's the fastest way to achieve the results I'm looking for?" Steroids.
How do I become you?
Forget the protein powder, bro. You gotta
Steroids.
take steroids. Just bypass it completely.
I just respect your body so much. How do I become like you?
Is it drugs? Because I'll do them.
I'll do them.
I'll do
Cycles,
Cycles?
whatever.
Yeah, those sound great.
Whatever, dude.
Yeah, don't go to cycling class either. That's gonna lose your gains, dude.
Don't do those kind of cycles.
Don't do cycle class.
I'm sure this scrawny kid's going to come back like 2 months later. He's like, "Man, I've been on the stationary bike forever and I still look like garbage.
Nothing's happening.
I've been on these
In fact, I've
cycles
lost
forever."
weight. Yeah.
I haven't stopped. I haven't stopped cycling since.
You just got to respect what God gave you and pump it full of drugs.
Yeah.
I just respect your body, dude.
I have one last one is because my apartment sits right on a sidewalk and there's often people walking by. Mostly it's just drunken rambling or some, just person just yelling, just generally yelling. I can't tell what they're saying. But one time I was sitting in here and there was a guy having a full phone conversation right outside my window. And the highlight from that whole thing was, "I spent my 401k to make sure you were taken care of." And I was like, whoa. And then he, more ramblings and then he walked away. But that's probably the best thing I've heard so far. And every time somebody walks by, I'm like, huh? What's it going to be? Huh? What's the drama that they're going to talk about? But that's still the best one.
You should write these down. I just love these things. I love overhearing conversations and just being like, what in the world were they talking about? And I like me and my friend Oliver used to play this game where we would literally walk past people and start in the middle of a conversation just to make them guess what we were talking about. It'd be you're just walking down the street and as soon as someone gets close enough, you're like, "Yeah," and then the container fell over and I was completely covered in goat semen. And just like right as you're passing someone and just like see if they no one ever reacts though. No one's ever reacted.
They don't have
No,
time.
they're like, "Man, what do I say to that?"
They have no time.
Yeah. I would definitely turn around and look if it were me because I just need to know.
What they say is they're like, "I can't wait to tell all the guys on the podcast about this." This will make a great segment.
I'm going to write this down in my notes app.
So, Kevin, I had an interesting situation last week. And it's
Involving goat semen?
no.
Oh, okay. Just check.
Gosh, I wish.
Just check it.
But
You wish.
Yeah, you,
Okay,
you,
sorry.
you wish,
Everything-
dude.
Look, I bought some goats and I'm trying to get them to breed, but it's just not working
It's
out.
not working out.
not
I don't know
working
what
out.
I'm doing, but
God, I could really go for some goat semen right now.
Like, do you know a guy? Like, I'm gonna need some. So this is like is tangentially related to overhang of the conversation. So I get on the bus to go to Ravenna and U Village to go to my chiropractic appointment, and usually this bus, there's no traffic. This is not a traffic story. It's not.
Thank
I'm
you.
just prefacing this is not a traffic story.
Thank you.
It was a rainy day, so a bunch of crazy people are getting on the bus. Those of you who take the bus know that when it just rains, like the first time it rains after a long time, a bunch of people get on the bus who never take the bus because they don't want to walk.
So there's two things that happens when it rains and it hasn't rained a long time. The worms first they come out,
come
all
out.
the birds,
Yeah, that's right.
and also people get on the bus.
So
Those are the two things you can look for.
yep, you can be sure that those
You can
things are
just
going to happen.
see him squirming.
So we get to the library stop, and an old man helps another old man in a walker and his supposed daughter onto the bus.
Supposed.
Well, I can't tell.
Proclaim that.
I can't tell.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, because I can't tell immediately whether it's his daughter or not.
Okay.
Jim's
right?
like, this guy said it was his daughter, but I don't believe him one bit.
It was mostly because I couldn't see the people in front of me, right? I couldn't see who they were.
Prove it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, once you join the birther movement, you just start suspecting everybody.
I just like Jim telling this story, and then one of us be like, I was on the bus too, and that was not his daughter.
I want to see the long form birth certificate. Well, it was just hard to tell who was related to who because there's two old men and one younger woman.
Right.
And the guy who looked the oldest was helping a guy who looked younger, who looked completely out of it with his walker, and they were like buckling him into the strapping him in on the bus in front of him, and that guy's daughter was being
Allegedly.
very loud, right? So I could tell immediately we were gonna have a problem on the bus because she was having
Hold on.
quite
How
a time.
old is his daughter?
She's probably in her 30s, I would say.
What bus
But like
were-
a rough 35.
Okay, yeah.
And her dad was probably like a really rough 70.
we talking like a street 35?
We're talking like a street 35.
Jim, were you
Okay.
on the Access bus? What the fuck?
No, I was on the 76 to Wedgwood of all places. So I was going to Ravenna, not necessarily allegedly. So we get on the freeway, like basically this girl starts being really, really loud, and I can tell that like she's maybe schizophrenic. Because she's like talking to nobody but herself and just like having a bunch of outbursts. And like we get to the last stop before getting on the freeway, and basically the bus driver comes back and asks them hey, did I miss your stop? Do you guys want to get off here? Because he knows that this is going to be like a problem. And then they're like, no, we're going all the way to Pike, but like other Pike, which is on the far to the north. And so they get off. So we get on the middle of the freeway, right? And she starts yelling and breaking down about how much she hates her life, how she has all of this anger contained inside of her, and how she doesn't know what to do with it, and starts bawling inconsolably. This is like three people in front of me.
So she's like a millennial, right?
Yeah, I feel this girl a little bit.
Right? Yeah. So all of us on the bus nobody's saying anything because number one, it's Seattle. Nobody wants to talk to anybody else on the bus. And number two, everybody doesn't know what to do because she's like breaking down. So we get to the first stop. We take our first exit and take the first stop. And then it takes 25 minutes for her to get her dad off the bus.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
And so they're trying to unbuckle him at first. And then she pushes the walker off the bus, and then I can't see what's going on because the windows are all fogged up because it's pouring, and all I hear from outside is dad, and she like is screaming dad because he gets off the bus and has fallen over on the pavement.
Oh, no.
So it's this whole awful situation now because everybody on the bus is looking at each other like, oh my God. And so the bus driver then has to stop the bus and pull over because he has to go out and wait for paramedics to arrive. So at this point, I am completely.
This old man jumped off the bus while it was moving.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
Please stop.
Just checking.
Everybody saw that, right?
That wasn't me, right?
He's like, I'm sorry, this is protocol. I got to get off and I got to like make sure it's okay. So at this point,
Right.
I've already completely missed my appointment and it's pouring down rain and everybody has to get off the bus. And we're all stopped on the side of a 2-lane one-way road.
Nice.
and behind us is another bus coming up that can't pass us because the road's not wide enough because there's cars on either side. So we end up blocking this entire street. And then the fire department has to show up and like tend to these people. And the
yikes.
daughter won't let the fire department like handle her dad. And he's like, I at this point I was like figuring that he was like might have been on drugs because he was just laying down on the street and he couldn't get himself up. And he was clearly like, he looked like he had the muscle mass required to like, he wasn't frail. And so it was this whole situation.
What
so
kind
like,
of body type?
oh, he was like a tall
Hourglass?
maybe like a
Was he? You could tell he'd been hitting the roids.
Like
Yeah.
a type V up top, or what are we talking about?
How many cycles?
Yeah, what type of body type did the bus driver have actually?
Oh no, he was like more of a stocky like 5'9".
Okay.
The bus driver, yeah.
Oh, geez.
What kind of body did the daughter have, huh?
Maybe like a
Mike, you're a married man.
Oh, jeez.
maybe like
I
a.
just want to picture the situation, guys.
She doesn't listen to this.
She definitely doesn't listen to this. So, but it's one of those situations where at the end of it, like because all of us got off the bus and that bus wasn't going to go anywhere, and it's one of those situations where like, number one, you can see how quickly society breaks down because the whole street was blocked immediately and the emergency services couldn't get to us at all. They had to like force everybody to get to the side of the street.
Nice.
Number two, it like definitely showed who in that situation of like, hey, you're not going to get to your destination, who number one wants to like just go and do their own thing, go to the next bus stop or get a lift or whatever, who would wants to stick around and wait for an authority to like tell you where to go, or three just wants to like watch all the drama go down. And it was really weird because it was a bunch of people like left, a bunch of people stayed and watched, and the other people stayed and watched the
And then Tim's in the back writing down data
And I'm writing
points.
down, like,
he's like, okay,
I
about
gotta
20
write
people
down
stayed.
stuff.
And
But
so-
the bus was full with 60
Yeah.
people.
About 20 people stayed.
It was really bizarre.
That's crazy.
Body type
So
for the first person.
At the end of this whole ordeal, you overheard the daughter saying like penis or something.
No,
Where was the overheard?
no, the overheard was the fact that like she had a complete breakdown on the bus.
Well, wait, remember, this was all alleged.
That's
Yeah.
So we don't know if this happened or not.
I don't believe any of this.
daughter.
I have a really quick one. I just remembered it. There was one time I was walking during lunch, and I was walking back, and I had my like food in hand, and I was going back because there's a cafeteria. It's great. Walking on the sidewalk, and this dude walks past, and we kind of do a little bit of that shuffle, but it's like it's ahead of time. It's not really that shuffle where it's just going left and going right. But we kind of walk past, and under his breath, he goes, "You fat fuck." And I kept walking, and because he said it so soft that I was kind of not sure if he really said it to me. I turned around, that dude's pants were all the way down.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I turned back and saw a fucking bare ass walking away.
all the way down.
Mike, to be fair, if his pants are falling down, he's not a fat fuck.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they're pretty. Well, I mean, so you're confirming that he said it to me?
You didn't hear
In his defense,
In defense, he was talking about you.
Phil quickly comes in to swoop and defend the
Oh, dude.
Wait, Mike.
I just remember it being so funny because I was like, at first, because I was walking with a coworker, I was like, I swear that guy just said it, and I like looked back, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, that's a bare ass. All right.
He's probably just jealous that your pants fit.
Yeah,
Probably.
probably.
Wait, Mike, was this bare ass guy fat?
I
Was
mean,
he fat?
he was probably comparable fat to me
Maybe he was calling himself fat.
because he was pretty tall too, but he's just kind of a little chubby.
No, okay. Maybe I was like,
Oh wow, yeah, I totally misjudged. I thought he was calling himself a fat fuck. Sorry, dude. That was my bad. I thought he was self-deprecating there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of a dick.
Let me try it. Let me say it to you real quick. You fat fuck. I was talking about me. Just kidding.
I thought he was having trouble navigating past Mike and was like, "Oh, I'm a fat fuck." I guess not.
I just love the idea that I'm telling a story of some dude calls me name, and then I'm like, "Yeah, what a weirdo," and you're like, "Wow, well, maybe he had some good points."
I was very confused.
Let's not jump to judgment, okay?
Yeah, fuck that guy. Sorry.
That's good. So a couple weeks ago, my credit cards were stolen out of my locker at 24 Hour Fitness.
It's fucked up.
That sucks.
Sorry about that.
I left my clothes in the locker at 5:30. Came back at 6:30, and my wallet was still there. My phone was still there. My keys were still there. So I left and didn't realize until I went to go get dinner when I tried to pay for it that all of my cards were still there, all my debit cards, my driver's license, everything. The only thing that was taken was 3 credit cards from me.
Wow.
And so I immediately called and canceled them.
Yeah.
But and they tried to charge $1,000 at Fred Meyer's. I got a text from Chase being like, "Did you try to spend $1,000 at Fred Meyer's?"
$1,000.
Dude, Chase, how did you know?
Yeah, no, I have a little log on all of Kevin's credit cards.
That's fucking nuts.
Also, to be
I
fair,
have some on your guys' cards too. Just so you
Ham
know.
was on sale at Fred Meyer.
Shaboom! The funniest part though was of those 3 credit cards, one was my corporate credit card. So it wasn't mine. So I didn't even know what number to call or even what the number of the card was to be like, "Hey, I need to cancel this." So I had to wait till the next day at work to email people.
Oh, yeah.
And so they ended up running up $1,500 of expenses on that card. And they did it. The charge that failed on my Chase one, they did $1,000 at Fred Meyer's. They did $211 at Walmart. And then they did a $350 charge at sugardaddymeat.com.
Please tell me you have more information about sugardaddymeat.com.
So I went to the site because of course I did. And it's MEET, not MEAT, in case you're curious.
Oh, damn.
That changes things.
That's better.
You can sign up to be either a sugar daddy or a sugar baby. And basically you get into a relationship where there's a financial incentive to be together.
Nice.
Are they accepting mail applications for this baby position?
You know what? I say go for it.
Do you have to be an actual baby to be a baby?
I don't think so.
This is sounding pretty interesting.
I think it's 18 and over. I didn't get very deep into the
I
site.
pray to God that it's 18 or over.
Yes.
Kevin, can we back up for a second?
Yes.
How did they get in your locker?
Yeah.
This is crazy. So I went there and I went back to the locker the next time I was at the gym.
Yeah.
And I looked. The thing is, because I went and I had to unlock my combo lock to get inside. Well, what I found out, I went to that same locker. I lifted up the lock, twisted it sideways, and found out that you can pull the door around my lock. It's just,
Oh my God.
it's small enough that it fits through the hole on that one locker. So it looks like someone spent time and drilled into that particular locker because it's different than all the rest of them. And so
Weird.
Somebody was scamming that exact locker and you
Right.
got caught?
yeah, well, when I ended because it was my corporate credit card that I had to call the cops and make a police report.
Yeah.
And they just gave me I talked for literally a half hour with this one detective, and she just kept giving me all these tips. She's like, just go to YouTube. You can find out how to break a combo lock. It's a 2-minute thing. It's not hard. And then she starts telling me about the time that her daughter got robbed and just being very, very nice to me.
Oh, that's nice.
But just being yeah, you can't do it there. Do they have any lockers in front of the main kiosk? Put it there. And what I've been doing is I've been putting all my stuff in my trainer's drawer now instead of actually using the lockers.
yeah.
You know what's
How do you know it wasn't your trainer?
Well, you know what's real dangerous about corporate credit cards is make sure that you don't have your corporate credit card from the same bank as your personal credit card. I made that mistake about a year ago, both from Wells Fargo. They looked identical except for the name on the card. So one time I went out on a Friday night and racked up, I don't know, $100 worth of bar tab on my corporate credit card.
Nice.
Didn't think anything of it until about a month later when my boss was like, yeah, so buying 10 beers, probably not in our business plan. What the fuck are you doing? Not a fun conversation to have.
You're like, oh, that's not in our business plan? I didn't know.
Oh, dude, I thought you were way more chill than that. Huh?
I thought this was a cool company to work for.
I thought you were cool, bro.
You're like, hey, I'm way too drunk to understand a business plan. and can you turn the light off, please?
Yeah, that leads into like a few days later, like later that week, someone who's an admin assistant for our entire department, who I talk to maybe once a month, instant messages me out of the blue, and it's just like, Kevin, I need to talk to you immediately. And I'm like, what in the world could she possibly want to talk about?
Yeah.
And then I call her and she's like, have you been using the corporate credit card? And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. This makes sense. And she like wasn't sure if I just accidentally used it for my own stuff.
Right.
And she like specifically talked about sugardaddymeat.com. She's like, I'm not one to question.
Oh my God.
That's amazing. Oh, dude, you should have just been like, I'm assuming this is a female.
Yes,
You should have been like, well, let's just cut out the middleman, baby.
Oh my God.
This is how different my company is from your company. Like they found Sugar Daddy Meat on my card and they're like, we'll just like charge him for it. We're not gonna get pissed that he put beers on it.
Oh my God.
So I've been getting regular follow-ups from a detective.
Oh, nice.
They've got the security footage from Fred Meyer, Walmart, and 24-Hour Fitness.
Nice.
And like he's been giving me regular updates, and I am trying so hard to care.
Yeah.
Because I got all my money back. All my new credit cards are in the mail to me right now. Like I lost zero money. I'm just mildly inconvenienced.
Are you kidding me? Let's track this fucking guy down.
Yeah, I want
Get him on the pod.
He's a fucking criminal.
Which leads us to today when an arrest was made. I get a call from a different detective who's like, hey, I know I'm not working your case, but we just arrested this guy down here.
I like that the whole department is so excited about arrests.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, he's.
Hey, I didn't actually. I'm sick today, but I heard down.
I haven't worked a case in 10 years, but they had to bring me back into the force.
They got Columbo. I mean, it must pay to be like a affluent white male, because to have like a squad of Seattle PD investigating
really
like this, I don't want to call it a misdemeanor, but like pretty mild fraud claim.
Well, it's technically the Shoreline Police, which is like
they have
a
nothing to do,
contracted
yeah.
agency.
Oh man.
No wonder.
But he's like, we arrested this guy and he had your corporate credit card. Like he had one of the 3 credit cards. And they're like, we have evidence to believe after looking at the footage that the guy who stole your cards and this guy are different people.
Oh,
And he's like, I can't get into the details with you. Oh my God. So what has happened at this point is they've tracked down one of my credit cards that's been involved in a separate crime.
the detective is like, so the investigation's ongoing. We'll call you later. Okay, love you. Bye.
It's so funny.
This sounds like the premise of an anime where you first get your credit card stolen and they get scattered across the globe. And the rest of the plot involves a detective getting sent to go track each of them down, and you are just completely disinterested. And they're like just sitting there like, all right, we got another one, Kevin. And they're sitting there waiting for their accolades. You're like, oh yeah. I have a conference call.
They're just so hyped about it.
This goes deeper than we've ever thought.
It's so true.
They pull the detective out of retirement. Like, oh, we got to call him in.
Yeah, it's like, no, I don't do that anymore.
You know that
This one's different.
You know,
His corporate card too?
Wait, there's two perps?
Count me in.
I'm back, baby.
you know that this is like Shoreline detectives haven't had like this sort of case in 10 years. They're just so jazzed about it.
This is a case that'll make my career.
Yeah, like, God damn it,
That detective's like, well, you know, I was initially the one like looking for we thought was a single guy who had all 3 of your credit cards, but I had to bring in the other detective once we realized we were dealing with multiple perpetrators.
We've got the FBI field office in on this too.
It hasn't been this crazy since the blank check debacle of '89.
Kevin, we're thinking this goes all the way to the top. That's right, the Russians.
Yeah, he's like, Kevin, I gotta go. I gotta call the president about this.
But here's the twist. The twist ending is that their special agent, James Comey.
Dude, I
Shoreline
wouldn't be surprised
PD.
though if Kevin got a call from, this is Special Agent Bauer.
I have 24 hours.
I have 24 hours to figure this credit card out.
I will not shit. I will not piss during the entire duration of this.
Kevin's like, oh, Kiefer Sutherland? And he's like, yeah, it's a reality show now. I don't want to talk about it.
Things haven't been so hot.
Yeah, I gotta actually solve real crimes now. It's pretty bad.
Kevin, do you have
guys,
any? Do you have any enemies at work that would want to frame you for using sugardaddy.com?
Nobody that knows that I work out at 24 Hour Fitness. But yes.
But you do have enemies at work.
But yes.
So you guys know the television show Cops, right?
What? Not familiar. Please explain.
What's it about?
So, dude, that's like,
God, I love us.
Chase, that's like the same person who doesn't know who Cops is the person who's like, who's running for president?
Yeah.
You guys have heard of Justin Bieber, right? I just heard this really catchy tune the other day.
Oh, I love it.
I mean, he's got a great voice.
Justin Bieber. So there's another show that's not Cops that's called Live PD, and it's on like some obscure cable channel. But I was watching that with my future brother-in-law over Christmas when we were staying with him, and it is the great. It's even better than Cops because it's live. They will broadcast. They will broadcast from like.
Do they stream on like YouTube or something?
They might, but it's definitely like a premium cable channel, and it's live. And they are based in like 3 or 4 cities in the South, and then like in like Michigan, and they follow around just a specific set of cops in each one, and then they have a panel of guys they go back to like comment on what's going on when they're arresting people.
It's like this is like sports.
It's
Yeah, it
exactly
really
like
is.
sports. It's so
Sports Cops.
so good.
Sports
It's so good.
Throw it back to Boomer.
But we were watching like a live PD top 10 of the whole year. So it was like they start.
ESPN.
So it's like these guys are like so hyped about number 10. This lady thought that she could litter in a parking lot. And it's like this woman in a car who's like, that's not my garbage. I don't throw any garbage away. And they're like, ma'am, we just saw you throwing garbage away. That's not my garbage. And
Number
that's,
one,
that's the whole show.
unarmed man shot.
It just reminds me of all the cop shows that are like they use all the crazy taglines during the like chases and stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, like NASCAR driver, ex-NASCAR driver steals the thing, and they're like, the only finish line this guy's going to be crossing is into jail. And you're like, oh, that's funny. And they're just seriously stock full of just those little things, and you're just like, oh God, you just ruined it. Like,
well, it's like the worst
was intense.
The worst is Mythbusters. Mythbusters has the most redundant and worst narrator
dude.
of all time. They're like
seriously.
in a room and they're like, yeah, so we're gonna blow up this dummy and see how far its bits will go. Jamie and something are gonna blow up this dummy and see how far it will go. And it's not even funny. It's super redundant. And you're like, God damn, I know what's happening.
Yeah, no, they just
make
said
it
that.
make it a fucking 25-minute show. It doesn't need to be 40 minutes.
It's so true, though,
Dude.
actually.
That just like shows that Discovery Channel was in the like lowest common denominator audience where it's like, all right, so the real stars explained it, but we have to explain it to you again just to make sure that you understand what's going on.
They're like, no, the average watcher is not going to get this. We need.
Think about the average watcher of Mythbusters.
Yeah, really.
They're like, that's I could believe that.
Yeah.
Like 90% of the myths are like,
Yeah.
obviously that's not going to work.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We recreated this myth in the most insane way possible, and it didn't work out. Seems like this myth is busted.
Yeah. Oh, big surprise.
Can you really buy $800 worth of premium steak for $400.
Myth busted.
We should make a Mythbusters Busters.
Yeah, we should actually.
Oh man. Yeah, it's fun because every conversation with a cop that I've had just goes on for an extremely long time with them giving me detail after detail. Nice. And at the end of every single one, they've gone, "Do you have any questions?" And I've said, "No."
Yeah, that makes sense. They probably have to do it, right? It's like a requirement thing, huh?
I'm sure they do. So I'm going to get into Rat Watch.
Yes.
The final. Well, I don't know if it's the final.
It might not be.
Oh, cliffhanger already.
At this point, I can't promise you. This is the third one. Like the first was episode 56, then episode 57. Now we're on episode, what is this, 61? And you know, we might keep going. It just depends. This is
those rats are going to start breeding in your house. You're going to have more rats.
I'm going to say this is the most work I've done before a Rat Watch episode, just because we're going to have to retcon some facts that I didn't mention in the previous stories.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Wow.
All right.
So what happened is it started several months ago now, where I saw a rat on the porch in the front of my house when I was driving home, and when I parked
on the front porch.
Yeah, it just ran off into the woods behind the house.
Yep,
the front porch.
And then,
oh my god, I just can't get over it. The front porch.
Not the back. Wait, are you sure it wasn't the back porch?
It was the front porch.
Holy shit!
I remember specifically.
Did you call the Shoreline PD?
It's way deeper than we thought, Kevin.
There's rats everywhere.
The rats are involved. They took your credit card. They all banded together and dressed up like a human.
We have video of them in the 20-hour fitness.
Here's the surveillance. Does that look like a human to you? That's a bunch of rats.
They conned a young woman on sugardaddy.com.
I'm sure she's the daughter of someone, allegedly.
Johnson, Johnson, look at this security footage. This guy's a total rat. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Criminals are all scum. No, this is a fucking rodent. Take a look at this.
I mean, Kevin, you've been battling the rats for so long at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if they'd stolen your credit cards.
I'm glad none of you pointed out the fact that I said 20-hour fitness instead of 24-hour fitness.
They close for 4 hours a day.
Someone's got to clean that place up. Come on.
That 20-hour fitness is just a bar that has weightlifting at it.
It's a bar.
It legally has to close for 4 hours.
Peter, I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
Weightlifting bars are going to be all the rage in 2 years.
Oh my god. Yeah, we got to close for 4 hours though. It's illegal.
I'm doing a set of squats and deadlifts, and can I get a vodka cran too?
Vodka cran.
I take a shot for every deadlift I do.
I just like the idea of anything that names itself the amount of hours it's open that's not at least 24. like, oh yeah, we're a cafe. We're open from 2 to 10. So yeah, we're called 8 hours.
We're called 8-hour cafe.
8-hour cafe.
Okay.
Cool. It's great.
Yeah, amazing.
Back to rats.
Yeah, so after I
Sorry.
see the rat on my porch, that night I heard scratching on the walls in my upstairs bedroom. And I banged on the wall and the scratching stopped.
Oh.
The next day I went outside to check and see if there's any bushes nearby that were big enough to scratch or blow on the wall. And there was only one bush that was anywhere close that could touch it. And I took the bush and I pushed it and shook it against the house, and it was just quiet. It didn't sound anything like the scratching.
Yeah.
Before we move on from that, Kevin.
Yes.
So did I have a question? Did Jolt cut the branches away from the side of the house, from the trees?
Jolt is the landlord of the
Jolt. Yeah.
Jolt is the landlord.
He did not know.
Okay, because I remember when I was living there that every time there was a big windstorm, but it would correspond with the wind, that the branches would rub against the wall and be really loud.
Well,
Kevin,
you don't say, Jim. When there was a windstorm, that's when you heard the bush.
Or just some breeze.
Kevin,
Just a little bit of breeze.
that night that you heard the scratching, was there a windstorm?
Look, I just want to be thorough with our rat investigation here.
Oh, we'll get there. Yeah, no, you're definitely burying the lead here, but it's definitely that's what ended up being the case.
This is really loud.
And that's Rat Watch, everybody.
Thank you, Jim.
There's so many details that are great.
Okay,
details.
good. I'm excited.
But I've heard the ending, so I'm kind of over it.
So, like, the weirdest thing is I'm sitting at home, and every time I bang on the wall, it literally like stops. It's like timed perfectly that this fucking tree is
Oh my God.
freaking me out.
Yeah.
And then I go and check, and it doesn't seem like it's the same sound at all. That's when then if you listen to episode 56 and 57, this is where I do my own personal, like, try to get the rats series. And that fails miserably. And you
Yeah.
could go listen to those.
Yes.
But then I finally tell the landlord, I'm like, I need an exterminator because, like, this is bad and I
Yeah.
need to sleep at night
It's a
because I'm
problem.
hearing this scratching.
Oh, jeez.
So to start it off, the landowner Jolt comes over. He brings some electrical traps from Home Depot and puts them in my garage and tells me to check them every 3 days. There's never any rats in
the
my garage.
garage?
I don't know why.
No
but
way.
he had rats in his garage, and so he was just convinced that if there's rats, they got to be in the garage.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a rat prop. It's the garage.
So I've seen a rat, I've caught a rat. Like, there's no rats in my garage, and the entire time they've been out there, that didn't work. But while he came over, I was like, it was right after being sick, like literally a few days after being sick, and my house is not clean by any stretch, but it's also not dirty. It's not a train wreck. And like, he saw lint on my dryer because it's got like a lint drawer on the top of it. So when you lift it up,
Oh man.
the lint like dropped onto the top of the dryer. So it was just like lint that I didn't clean up from that morning doing laundry.
Yeah.
And he looks at it and he's like, "Ooh, you need to keep this clean. This is expensive thing." And
They're
just
not
like,
expensive.
makes this big deal about lint being on the top of my dryer.
Dude, he was
Nice.
weird about he was weird about certain things being very clean and other things just didn't care at all about stuff. So
Yeah, so
I sympathize with you.
I was super happy to get him out of the house at that point.
Yeah.
So the exterminator comes, plants traps, 3 outside, 8 in the attic because they think that there's some in the attic.
Well, and the attic is right next to your bedroom too.
Yeah.
The hatch is like right there.
Yeah. So
hatch?
he
hatch.
comes back. There's no catches. A week later, and he thinks it's squirrels.
Dang.
And he's like, if we don't catch anything, we're gonna have to like talk about maybe like plugging up the hole, seeing if maybe squirrels are getting into your wall.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm like, the exterminator didn't catch anything, and I'm like, let's check out this bush again. So I get Mike to come over, and I'm like, hey Mike, just push on this bush, and I'm gonna be inside. And the way it sounds inside is completely different than the way it sounds outside.
Yeah.
So much louder.
It's really loud.
So, and it was overpronounced, but it was like, shit. There's definitely no rats in my walls. So I end up cutting that bush and just didn't tell anybody. And there's no more sound.
Wait a second. Wait. No, I'm just thinking back. So that rat you caught, was he just like an unlucky fucker that was traveling through your backyard?
There's still rats.
There's legitimately
in the backyard.
rats there
Oh,
though.
there are still.
There's just no rats in the.
Yeah.
Okay, I
in
thought
the
you
house.
just
They're just
wrong.
not in my house. They're just
Yeah.
wild rats out there,
Yeah.
no longer near my
I mean,
house.
He saw
Okay.
rats
So
at the house.
that rat was just wrong place, wrong time.
So the exterminator comes back. No, actually, this is even better. No, here they come back. They find out there's some bait that's eaten. And the rat has actually eaten like the side of one of the rat traps on the outside.
These are hardcore
Like,
rats.
he said they're very aggressive. He's like, this
Badass
is
rat, dude.
like they don't normally eat the box, but they were.
Dude, those rats are on a cycle.
They're on the cycle for
Yeah.
sure.
So they ate some of the poison. He's like, it didn't die in there, but they will die somewhere. So, and he'll come back later. Jolt calls me up and he I called him and I called him and gave him an update on where we were with the exterminators and that we'd gotten some activity. And he's like trying to get me to peek inside the rat trap so I can tell him what the bait they use is so that he can just do it himself rather than like hiring these people again.
He would do
my
that.
God.
Savvy
That
landlord.
guy.
And then the phone
Very
calls
savvy.
ends with him reminding me about the lint on my dryer.
Of course, it's the only thing he thinks about
And
the whole time.
it's not even like it's like a literal threat. He's like, we want to keep renting this place to you, but you need
Clean
to
up
keep
the
it
lint.
clean. And I'm like not even ready for this conversation because I'm glad that it ended where it did because I was just about to be like, seriously, fuck you, dude. Like I did laundry that morning. It's not a big deal. Like,
Yep.
Damn.
I'll tell you right now, Kevin. Jolt responds really well to like a gentle reassurance that everything's okay, and he's like, "Oh yeah, okay, well, it's fine."
Go a different route. You should collect all your lint and anonymously mail it to him.
Mail it to him.
Mail all your lint to him anonymously.
Literally every time that I'm on the phone with Jolt, he'll at the end of it he'll remind me, make sure to clean up your dog poop in the back.
It's because he stepped in it one
he
time.
stepped in it one time and
Yeah.
said that it's a health hazard and people will get disease. And I'm like,
Where is this man from?
It's all cleaned up.
He's from.
I have no
he's
clue.
from somewhere in Eastern Europe.
The old country.
He's from the old country. He's also. I mean, he's either 65 or 85. I can't figure
Hard to
out which
tell.
one. Yeah, really hard,
Hard
to
to
tell.
tell.
Wow.
yeah, so that really rubbed me the wrong way.
Absolutely.
And
Bush
then,
rubbed you the wrong way.
and then-
More like
And so then that's when later he called me again from Home Depot and was like, what are the bait are they using? And so I went outside and like took pictures of the rat traps, but they have a special key to get in.
Oh.
And I know how to I actually know how to get through it, like to unlock it, but I didn't want my human scent on the boxes because I actually want
Right.
to kill these things. And two, he really pissed me off. So I was just like, I'm not even going to try. So I just took a picture of the box and like a picture through the hole on the inside and was like, I can't see it. And then the last thing that he asked me is to put a trap inside Mike's house.
Yep. Now it's in my garage where there are
No
plenty of-
rats.
no rats.
No rats.
No rats. Was there anything else?
That's the end of it, basically.
I know what happened to your rat.
Oh. What? This is a Podworms exclusive.
This is Mike's Rat Watch.
Mike's Mouse Minute.
Mike's Mouse Minute. No, yeah, the Sunday, Gus was barking out in the backyard, and I went out there, and there's just a rat. A big old fatty rat just lying on the ground, and like Gus is barking right in his face, and the rat's like trying to like whap him away.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then I was like, Gus, get the fuck away from there. That's a poison rat. I don't know if you're gonna get poisoned. I don't know how this works.
That's a poison rat.
The rat's been poisoned. It's poisoned. You're gonna be poisoned. Come here, baby boy. Come here. And then I got it back inside, and then I even called the vet. So I was like, I don't think there's a problem, but just it would be there's rat poison. There's a rat, and is he fine? And they're like, did he eat part of the rat? I was like, no. He's a useless little French bulldog. He doesn't eat things like that.
Yeah, no, he didn't catch shit.
No, literally,
have you seen him?
Literally, you should look at my dog. There's no way. He's never. He did not run down this rat. This rat was poisoned and just slowly died in my backyard. But the thing is that so I brought Gus in, and then I was like going somewhere in like 3 hours, and so I was like, okay, well, I'll wait for because the rat was still like breathing, and I was like, well, I'll go out there and take care of dispose of it.
kill it.
Right.
No, I'll dispose of it once it's past. It's once
No,
it's
you're just
past
gonna let it
away.
suffer and die.
Let it shine in peace.
Mike.
what about hitting it with a hammer?
Well, I'm having flashbacks again.
Go out there with the shovel and put it out of misery.
Literally at this
my
point,
God.
the rat is it's Kevin's problem. It's Kevin's poison.
Yeah,
So Kevin's done his due diligence. He's fired. The people have let the traps, and then rat just happened to be on my side of the yard when it's
did
being able to move.
Did you just throw it through Kevin's window?
Well, I checked every I checked every like 30 minutes or so because I was like, well, okay, well, let's go see. And then it's still breathing.
Yep, still dying.
Still
Yep.
dying. And then I was like, well, I'll come back. He'll be dead soon. Like, because my plan is more or less to just chuck him into the green belt. Because
This is some psychopath shit.
No. You're fine.
Wait, you keep checking on it?
You are like 2 shades away from like Josef Mengele right now. Just experimenting on this rat. Like, it's been 30 minutes, still alive.
There's no experiment on this rat. There is a thing that is out of my control happening in the backyard.
For sure, Mike. Sure.
It's Kevin's
Right.
problem.
Your hands are clean.
Kevin tried to murder a rat, and he is dying on my side of the yard.
I'm happy he's dying.
But then it came to the point where it was like, oh, okay, I got ready, and then I had to go to this thing several hours later, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll check on the rat one more time. It was probably like once every hour and a half. So I checked on it like
How long does it take to die, right? Huh?
This is like the beginning of a serial killer. How long is this rat gonna die?
And so then I went outside and I looked at it, and I was like, oh, okay, good. Finally, it's done. It's passed. It's not moving. The tail's sprawled back to where it was. Eyes are wide open, and then I get the shovel and I kind of get the rat body up on there, and then like as if it was
You woke it right up, didn't
as
you?
if it was its last testament, it starts just slowly moving its arms, and it starts opening and closing its mouth like it's
God.
no.
I have children.
Like it literally I stood there holding a rat on a shovel that was just slowly opening and closing its mouth, and I was like, I have to go. Like
Why didn't he just throw it in the green belt when you found it?
because it was alive. I thought like well because he's
But
already
at least the traveling through the air would have killed him. when it hit the
maybe
ground.
there was something. Well, there was also like a part of me that was like, I mean, he was fucking gross. Like this was not a cute rat. And I was like, if I poke him, like maybe he'll get enough energy to like run at me. Like it was like I don't know.
He could have been.
I can't on audio describe how big it was, but
Like
it was,
a coconut.
It's a large.
it was like
eggplant.
like an eggplant with like
Lord.
with like a
he ate all that peanut butter.
eight to 10 inch like thick tail. It was fucking gross,
Dude.
and it was like
This rat's like
This-
this rat. He's like, I'll see you in heaven.
this rat's been through some shit. So I stood there
That's what he was saying.
holding the shovel with the rat just like slowly moving, and I was like,
should have tossed him right away.
well, no, I did. Eventually, I was like, I have to go. Gus needs to go potty. It needs to be safe for him to come back
All
here.
right, Mike, man up. Come on, buddy.
go, Mike.
We can do this, buddy.
We're gonna
Come
do
on.
I mean,
And then I just chucked him in the back, and that was it.
I mean, like, is that is it worse? I mean, I don't know. I thankfully had to come upon 2 dead rats that my dog killed in the yard,
Yeah.
and I mean that wasn't nearly as gross. I think in your situation, I would have just done away with the thing and been done with it. I wouldn't have given it to my dog though.
These types of situations are scenarios that you should cherish because you can use them as a great leverage point to convince your wife to buy guns. Home
see,
defense.
There you go. That's a great point,
sorry,
Phil.
I need
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Here's how-
I've been looking for that opportune moment to convince
That's a
Julia.
good point.
Here's how the conversation would go. Hey, Julia, you remember that pathetic rat that was dying poison, couldn't do anything, it was lying on the ground. We let it die for about 8 hours. Yeah. That's why we need guns.
If I had just had a pistol, I could have pop boom done.
Right out of its misery.
Everyone's happy. Everyone's happy.
remember
Neighbors are happy.
Well, at least a BB
You're
gun or
happy.
something.
Julia, if I could have had an AK-47
Air
with a
pistol
grenade
or something.
launcher, I could have taken out the whole rat colony.
That's true. That's actually more of an assault rifle.
I prefer landmines when dealing with rats. It's much simpler. You know, set and
Gus,
forget.
don't go in the
just,
yard.
They're just little miniaturized landmines to
Yeah,
dismember
little
rats.
bouncing betties to really take care of the issue.
Oh my god.
You'll just line the deck with them, and they try to run underneath and just get taken out. I like
just
it.
like the idea that Mike goes to some exterminator shop and it's like, so do you have any like guided missiles to take out rats?
So-
I mean, bouncing betties, those are surplus military.
That's right.
Much cheaper than cheese.
You can go
these
to
days.
Army Surplus,
Much
pick those
cheaper.
up, dime a dozen. So Kevin, I think in the future, maybe you should just call me before going through the whole rigmarole of testing quirks out about your house, because I know what's up.
Yeah.
Just call me.
Yeah. This information would have been helpful.
All right, Kevin. Was there a windstorm when you
Did you
heard the
hear
scratching?
Was there any wind at all? Did you hear any
Hey,
wind?
you know what? What's great though? That bush is clipped, and I can now sleep at night.
Sleep peacefully.
Amazing.
So soundly.
Like a baby.
Beautiful.
And that was
After trimming your bush.
So that is Rat Watch update.
great.
I am going to get you guys to play this game that I wrote a first draft last night after Andrew texted me saying to host, and I have no idea how this is going to play.
I can't
The
wait.
game is called Danger Island.
I'm so excited.
On the side of this imaginary box, Danger Island is a game of mystery, revenge, and survival. It's recommended for ages 21 to 29.
That's our ages.
That's our ages. Wow, perfect, great.
Before playing, you will all need to pick the name of your character. Please pick the name of a seafaring young man who is ready for adventure.
Mike McCoy.
Okay, Peter's got his.
Okay, mine is Salty Britches.
Nice.
Oh wait, you didn't. Okay, we're picking names.
You're
for
picking
ourselves.
names. Yeah.
Peter Freeze.
Fuck.
I'm going to be a Benny Johnson.
Nice.
Benny Johnson.
Can I change mine?
Yeah.
I just did that because Peter. Can I change mine?
Yeah, for sure.
Mine's gonna be Dirty Pete.
I'm gonna go with Tadpole.
Wow, that's really
God damn
good.
it.
I can't think of one. Will you guys think of one for me?
Willie Worms.
Done.
Okay.
Useless. Stupid.
It's here.
Yep.
It's Willie.
That's 3.
Willie,
DJ's Rebel shit.
Willie Worms. You're confirmed. You're Willie now.
I'll be
You've been confirmed.
Yep.
Willie Worms. Okay, cool.
Okay, fine. I'm going to change mine too.
I'll be Benny Bones then.
I'll be Scummy Bum.
I'm guessing there's probably more to the game than just picking a name. Am I right, Kevin?
Can we just say our names one more time?
Yeah,
Let's go around one more time with our names.
Phil?
Salty Britches. It's when you come in your pants.
Oh,
Hey, that's Salty Britches.
And I'm Dirty Pete.
And I'm Benny Bones.
I'm a Scummy Bum.
Tadpole.
Magic Mike.
Okay, I'm going to continue reading the instructions for this game.
Great.
Okay, all right.
Now that you've picked the name of your character, you will never mention again. Any mention of your character's name will cause 10% damage to your health.
Fuck, great.
During the course of this game, you'll go by your real names because in this game, the stakes are real.
Oh, jeez.
You are all sailing through the Caribbean. The wind is at your back and your future is on the horizon. Suddenly, the sky turns black and a hurricane begins to form. Your ship is tossed violently in the waves.
Help us.
Lightning is striking regularly all around you in every direction. A large tidal wave tips over your boat and you are forced to swim. Many hours are spent treading water until the storm finally breaks. You spot a small island and make your way towards it. Along the way, you are stung by jellyfish and lose 10% of your health.
Ah, jeez.
Dang.
When you make it to the island, you spot 6 amazing spots to explore. You see a cave of malice, a lake of treachery, a mountain of deceit, a forest of forgetfulness, a river of darkness, and a desert of flaming excrement.
All right.
Are these areas labeled, or did we just send one of our crew members to like really scout out the deceitful mountain?
Is there like
I think it's more like you once you look at them, you're like, oh, that's definitely the Forgetful Forest.
I wouldn't trust that mountain.
definitely, deceitful mountain.
Wait, which forest is that?
Oh no, it's happening already.
Yeah, you could see all these spots.
This island seems pretty dangerous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Each of you must choose one location. There can be no duplicates.
Me first.
Yes.
Well, I'm going with the mountain of deceit.
Mountain of Deceit for Phil.
Ooh.
Okay.
I'm
Mike?
going to go straight to the River of Darkness.
What was there? Was like a
What's left is a forest of forgetfulness, a cave of malice, and a desert of flaming excrement.
I'll go to the Cave of Malice for sure.
Okay, cave of malice.
And I'm gonna do the Forgetful Forest because
Okay, Andrew,
I
that
love
leaves
the
you.
idea of a forest that makes you forgetful or something.
Is that don't eat the mushrooms and you'll be fine.
I don't know.
What's your name? Where am I?
Okay, Andrew, that leaves you with the desert of flaming excrement.
That's what I was going to pick anyway. So
Fuck. What about me?
You guys are a team.
What?
Peter's no longer playing.
You didn't? Oh, sorry. Did you not choose cave of malice?
No, I did.
No,
Wait, what the frick did I
I'm
do?
the Cave of Malice.
Oh,
Peter,
sorry.
could you
go
leave?
ahead, Andrew. You either have the flaming excrement or the river. No.
No.
excrement.
What the hell did I do?
Did you?
Oh, Lake of Treachery or
There you
Desert
go.
of Flaming Excrement. Sorry.
I want the shit, please.
So
Okay, Andrew.
God damn it.
They call me the dung beetle.
Peter, you're getting the Lake of Treachery, which is actually perfect.
Okay. You know, I have free will.
He'll
All
betray us all.
So the Forest of Forgetfulness is where we're going first. You wander to the Forest of Forgetfulness in search of food and shelter. However, it soon becomes dark. You create a torch with a nearby stick and slowly trudge forward. However, the darkness becomes thicker, like a fog overtaking the light from your torch. It becomes cold and your torch burns out. A figure appears in the darkness. He offers Chase a choice.
Oh,
You may do one of the following: regain full health,
yes.
be forever protected from the madness of the island,
Okay.
or attack all of the other shipmates for 20% of their health.
Jeez. I get to I get to choose.
Yeah, one of those three.
I'm gonna go with what was the second one? Be
forever protected from the madness of the island.
Yep, that's the one I'm gonna go with.
All right.
Fuck you guys.
Very selfish.
Should've just attacked us, you asshole.
All of them were selfish.
Okay, so you're forever protected.
Oh, sick.
So we've reached our first night on the island of danger. You find a spot to lay down for the night. You make camp. Each of you must decide to just sleep or attack. Peter, sleep or attack.
Attack.
Mike, sleep or attack.
Sleep.
Andrew, sleep or attack.
Attack.
Phil, sleep or attack.
Attack.
Okay, now we're gonna go through and all the people who are attacking, tell me who you're attacking.
Chase. Myself.
You're attacking yourself. I'm gonna allow that.
I'm picking Chase for sure.
Fuck
Definitely
dude.
Chase.
I'm gonna be attacking Tadpole.
That's
Do I get to lose Andrew's life because I
You
called
lose
him
10%
Tadpole?
for mentioning a name.
You're not supposed
Oh, I
to
thought it was
mention
only
the name.
my name. I thought
all names.
Any of the names.
Andrew
point.
mentioned a nickname earlier too.
Nice try, salty britches.
That's actually
Andrew's
the
down to
second-
80%.
No, he's down to 70. That's the second time he did
Is it? Oh, all right. All right. So everybody's at 90% health. Phil, you're at 80%. Andrew, you're at 70%. Okay. Chase, you automatically balance off one of the attacks.
Okay,
But since
sick.
there's two against you,
Yep.
you're going to get attacked for 10%. Fuck. Which brings you down to 80%.
I'd like
Fuck
to
you guys,
envision
dude.
an attack in your sleep that's only 10%, which is like somebody just like slapped you awake.
Yeah.
What's up, asshole?
enough for me to be like, gee, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck?
It's an island of madness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is mad.
It happens.
So, but you also, so you basically, you gained 10%, but then you went down to 10% because you got attacked twice.
Two
Suck,
10%.
Chase.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
Fuck you guys, dude.
Okay. So now it's the morning. We're going to go to the Cave of Malice.
Yeah, let's go.
In the morning, you begin to walk towards the Cave of Malice. The opening of the cave has a mouth like an alligator. Stalactites and stalagmites are its teeth.
It's dope.
When you walk inside, there's a large, mysterious, glowing cavern with 6 mystical doors made of gold and silver. However, the third door is made of wood and covered in Slimer juice.
Oh no!
Oh, it's so slimy.
And the 5th door is open with no danger on the other side.
This is like a sign that says no danger, or is it like there's
It's just clearly, it's the one clear option where there's no danger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So third door, Slimer. 5th door, no danger. Jim, you must pick each door for each person, 1 through 6. So who gets door number 1?
Don't be an asshole, Jim.
All right. So there's a silver and a gold door. Is that right? Is that what you said?
They're all gold and silver except for
Oh.
those 2, 3 and 5.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're all the same. There's a Slimer door and a safety
Okay.
door.
Andrew's gonna go in the Slimer door.
Okay.
Nice.
And then Phil's gonna go in the no danger door.
Thank you. I will keep that in mind when we reach the mountain of
It's Danger Island, man.
deceit.
It's Danger Island. And then the rest of us will go in the others, I guess.
So I need to know door number 1 is who?
Door number was Peter.
Okay.
Clearly.
I'm door number 2.
Obviously.
Mike is door number 3.
Yeah. Wait, isn't door number 3?
Sorry, door number 3 is already taken. So you've got 4 and 6.
Okay, 4 is Chase.
Nice.
6, bro.
Mike is 6.
Yes.
All right.
That's the only one left. So
All right.
I hope you're happy.
So, Peter, you are healed 10%.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. Jim, you are damaged 20%.
Oh, wrong door. bud.
Sucks to suck.
Andrew, you are killed by the slime juice.
It's just as well.
It's slime juice.
And then the Slimer King appears to you in a dream. He grants you 200% of undead life. What? You can no longer win the game, but you follow your shipmates around through the rest of the journey. At night, you can attack any shipmate at 4 times the cost of your own health, or give life to shipmates at 1 times the cost of your own health.
Damn.
Choices.
We've always been friends.
Chase, your damage 10%.
Well, all right. Could be worse.
Phil, you are safe.
Oh, nice.
And Mike, you gain a +1 protection against the madness of the island.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks, Jim. I'll keep this in mind.
Oh,
You really helped me out in a pinch there.
think nothing of it.
Okay.
Not a huge fan of walking around with a zombie, though. That's kind of off-putting.
yeah,
He's kind of slimery.
Andrew is kind of weirding me out.
And so you find a spot to lay down for the night. You make camp. We're going to go to the Lake of Treachery now. The madness is seeping into your souls as you walk towards the Lake of Treachery. You see its silvery outline, and hovering above it is a light fog. It might almost be beautiful, except for the growing sadness you feel with each step you take. Arriving at the shore, you decide to take a cool bath in the water. However, the lake takes one of you in secret, leaving but a shadow. Peter, I need you to write down the name of one of your live shipmates.
great.
The shipmate that Peter wrote down is dead and can no longer win the game, but won't revealed until later when the game is either over or that shipmate actually dies.
Life, dude. Wow.
You all find a spot to lay down for the night.
You fucking hear that, Chase?
Oh my God.
Okay.
For some reason, I have a feeling that maybe he wrote down somebody else.
I have a feeling you wrote down my name.
Maybe he's switching it up.
I don't trust Peter at all.
Yeah, I don't trust it either. Actually.
No wonder he got the Lake of Treachery.
All right. So we're going to go to the River of Darkness now. As you walk around the lake, you find a river feeding into it. Walking upriver, the water slowly begins to change color and grow darker and murkier. And the nearby cliffside seems to be forcing you slowly but surely to walk closer to the black water. Finally, you reach a spot where you can no longer walk forward. You must cross the water. Mike, you will choose an alive shipmate to accept the challenge of the water. It can be, and you can also accept that challenge yourself.
To cross the water?
Yes.
I'm ready, man. I've been training for this. I can handle this river.
Sounds like
Just-
Phil can handle it.
Just trust me, okay?
Don't be a
Just trust
bitch.
me.
Give it to Phil.
I choose myself.
Oh, okay.
Big mistake.
You
I hope you die.
walk into the river and immediately lose your footing. The dark magic of the river overtakes you. You must roll the dice. A roll of 1 to 3 means you die. Please. A roll of 4 to 6 means you can choose someone else to die in your place.
Hold on.
Yeah, reroll.
You drunk.
Roll on the table.
Reroll.
Okay.
That's a 5.
That's a 5.
Okay, who do you want to die?
Peter.
All right. You keep walking and a foul stench fills your noses because we're going to the desert of flaming excrement. As the stinging pang of the
Finally.
scent becomes unbearable, you reach the edge of a clearing. Ahead of you, you see a desert of flaming excrement, slowly being tended to by ghostly figures with long sticks. One of the ghost figures approaches you and beckons you to a nearby tall pile of excrement. Andrew, you may pick one dead shipmate to give 200% undead health to. The rest of the undead shipmates will then receive up to 40% unless they've already, unless they have more than 40% health.
Wow.
Who's dead?
So it's just you and Peter at this
I'm
point.
going to give it to me.
Yeah, perfect. Back to
Perfect.
All right, final location. After weeks of traveling, you finally made it to the Mountain of Deceit. I'm honestly quite impressed you made it this far. Towering above the whole island, the mountain spreads the feeling of impending doom upon all who look at it. As you begin to scale the mountain, you see a dark, shadowy figure at the top of the mountain. He beckons you to come. His hand is a sickle. When you get to the top, he drops the sickle, unveils his hood, and surprise, it's a unicorn. The unicorn nuzzles up to you and fills you with overwhelming joy. The unicorn whispers into Phil's ear and asks him to pick which of his alive shipmates to kill.
Can we just have a quick recap? A quick status update. I know I'm alive.
I'm also alive.
and
everyone else is
No,
dead.
everyone else is there.
Literally just
Wow.
me.
It's a tough choice.
Phil, I
However-
saved you earlier. We're blood brothers.
That's true. Don't you remember? You said you would remember this when we
Yeah.
arrived to the mountain of deceit or whatever the
Yeah, I
fuck
let
we're-
you go through the no danger
doing.
door.
Wow.
It's a big moral choice you have to make.
This is a dramatic pause because
Yeah, it really is.
I'm a man of my word. Even though I'm the best at this crazy game, easily,
Clearly, yeah.
I will take one for the team. And I'll die. I'll throw myself into the volcano. Unheard of.
God.
I'll remember this forever.
Wow.
Wow, Jim,
We are,
that makes
we are
you,
blood brothers now.
Yeah, we are.
Jim, that makes you the winner of Danger Island.
Wow.
The first and last time I'll ever attempt this game.
Amazing work,
Crown-
everybody.
All right there, space fans. Thanks for listening. You can subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us at pwspacecast.com, on Twitter as pwspacecast, Podmore Spacecast on Instagram and Facebook. My personal favorites at Instagram. Write us a review, tell a friend, and don't forget to keep squirming.
Hey, space fans. Catch fan of the pod and creator of Danger Island, Kevin McCoy, on the American Slackers podcast this Wednesday, episode 135. Keep squirming.